Morning, everyone. So today we're going to be chatting about something we don't normally talk about, and it's what do you want to do if you want to still do hair, but also own a salon? So many people teach and talk about becoming an owner and stepping away from behind the chair, but very few people are talking about what if that's your passion? What if you love doing hair? And the reason why you left your salon you were working at is because it sucked and the culture was terrible and it just didn't fulfill you. And so you were only left with one choice, which was to open up a salon yourself. But that's not what you want to do. You don't feel like being a business owner. Well, unfortunately, you do own a business. So there is some stuff you have to do, but you're able to delegate it. One of the things that you buy back your time for is to do things you enjoy. And if your passion really falls like into doing hair every day, like that's what you're passionate about, that's what you love doing, then why would you stop doing that? Just because you own a business now doesn't mean you have to be owned by your business. If you love doing hair, get things in place, get systems in place so you can keep doing what you love. And then now you have the perfect salon that aligns with your vision and aligns with your culture and makes you totally fulfilled and totally happy. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute and go through a quick little PDF. This is on one of my Instagram reels where I tell you the DM structure. And this is the structure to help you build a salon that doesn't really need you to do everything. You're going to learn how to delegate. And it's to free up your time to actually do hair. So we're going to jump into the PDF in a second. If you guys have any questions, please make sure you drop them in the comment box because James will be reviewing them. If you're watching this on a live or after the fact, then always shoot me a message if you have a question about anything I'm going over at nickmirabella.com. I'm on Instagram. That's probably the best place to reach me, or shoot me an email, nick@nickmirabella.com. But I'm just curious if anyone is watching this live right now, just drop in the chat. Is this something that you are challenged with? Like, do you own a salon? You love doing hair, but you hate owning it? Because a lot of people, I think that's one of their issues. They feel like they have to become this owner and stop doing hair. And that's why they're afraid to own a salon. But if you do things the right way, you can put someone in every single position. So your salon's being run efficiently without you having to do everything. And now you have time to do hair, which is what you love doing. So we're going to jump into the PDF right now and let's share the screen. James, let me know if you can see it on your end.
Just waiting for you to pull it up. Add the stage, and there we go.
We're good? All right, cool.
We're good.
All right, so I call this the Passion Focused Salon Owner's Playbook. And this is how you scale your salon while staying behind the chair. Like I said, everyone talks about how do you scale your salon and get away from behind the chair? There's a ton of information out there about that. I talk about it all the time. And to be honest with you, once you do this, you could step away from behind the chair too. But this is to free up your time so you're doing what you love, which is doing hair. So phase one, this is going to take 1 to 4 weeks. It's foundation building, creating your organizational chart. And I teach this in the Level Up Academy. And this is one of the first lessons that people actually watch. When you have a company, you need to have certain roles. And so the verbiage that I use for this is your organizational chart. You can call it your salon chart. You could call it your leadership chart. Call it whatever you want to call it. But in your organization, there's going to be roles and responsibilities. You need to make sure you have an idea of who's doing what if it's not you. So as the owner, typically you wear all the hats. You're doing everything, the ordering, the managing, the this, the that. And you don't have to do that anymore because you still want to focus on doing hair. So create this chart and list out all the things, the day-to-day things that you find yourself doing. And then you're going to have to create roles for that person, whether it's the marketing manager, whether it's the lead stylist, whether it's the salon manager, whether it's the front desk coordinator, a training coordinator, an inventory manager. Create all these different positions inside of your company. Who's going to do what? Now, you could have one person do 3 or 4 of them if it's not a big business, but typically you're going to want to have all this stuff labeled out, like put down on paper, not in your head. Write it out. I love computers too. If you're good on computers, then create like a flow chart somewhere. But typically what I like to do is I like to take pen to paper for this particular exercise. And then you can get like a big desk like this. You just lay out each one of the positions, and then you have like a really good view on how your company's being run. On the opposite side of that paper, for each one of the roles you have in your organization, that's where you put your position agreement. That's where you start detailing everything that person's responsible for. This way, when you hand that over to somebody, they know exactly what they need to do. And there's no room for error. Typically, when people get delegated a job, and they don't do what you want them to do, it's because they either don't know they should be doing it or they don't know how to do it. This solves both of those problems. And then if they're not motivated to do it, well, then that's another issue. We got to talk about that in a whole different day. And so let's assess your current team's capabilities. Like, how good are they at communication, problem solving? Who do you have on your team right now that you can maybe put into some of these positions? When I talk to owners, one of the things I feel they they struggle with is how they're going to do everything themselves. And when people start thinking like, how am I going to do everything myself? It's overwhelming. It's not about doing everything yourself. It's about who you need to bring into your life so you can delegate or pass certain jobs off to. So always think who, not how. Know your outcome, and then who do I need to be around? Who do I need to get in my life? And a lot of times you'll hear me say, who do you need to become? But you need to become a master delegator, really, if you want to keep doing hair behind the chair. So think about not just how this is going to happen, who is going to help you with this. Let's jump back into the PDF. All right, James, you got me sharing or no?
Bring it back up.
There we go. A little bit of a delay. Here we go. All right, so after you create that org chart, now it's time for position agreements. It's going to take you probably 2 months to do. It's, well, a month to start the chart and then rate these position agreements. Here's some basic ones for you. Salon manager, lead stylist, front desk coordinator. Whenever there's a problem in the salon, you don't want to be the one people go to for it. You want to have a person on that org chart, which is put in the back room somewhere. So if this is the 5 issues that come up for that particular role, they know that, hey, when you onboard somebody, hey, if you got a problem with this, this, and this, you go to this person. You got a problem with this, you go to that person. You got a problem with that, you go to that person. Scheduling, go to your salon manager. Your books, someone's wrong in your book, they booked the wrong appointment, go to the front desk coordinator. Don't go to the owner. I'm doing hair right now. I'm doing what I love. You don't bother me, you bother them. Now, let me just say, it doesn't mean you pass this off and then forget it. You still have to check in with people. So there's something I teach called the agenda. That's where you want to make sure you schedule in a weekly sync with each one of these particular roles. You can do it together, the 4 of you, the 2 of you, the 1 of you, typically one-on-one, once a week. You meet up with these people. So one of your days is going to be dedicated towards inspecting what you expect. And you can do that once every 2 weeks if you needed to spread that out a little further. But typically your cadence is going to be once a week. You're going to check in with these people to make sure that everything's running the way you want it to run. And because you're a stylist in your own salon, you're going to be able to get an idea of what's happening anyway. You want to implement clear communication channels. So it's like daily huddles, team meetings, one-on-ones, quarterly reviews. These are something you are going to now empower someone to handle because you want to just do hair, right? You can still be involved on a little bit, but at least on your quarterly reviews and your team meetings, you're obviously going to be involved in. Your monthly one-on-ones, that could be the salon manager. All right. Leadership development. You need to develop the leaders who you wish you had when you were a stylist working for somebody else to then run your salon for you. One of the issues you're going to run into is if you don't teach your leadership team, you don't develop them to operate the salon how you want it operated, then it's probably going to fall apart because they're going to have their own leadership style. And you want to make sure you're clear on your core values, on your mission, on the culture you want to have. And so this is going to take a lot of work in the front end, but then once it's set up for you, you have all your position agreements and your org chart, you're going to be good to go. So you're going to develop leaders in this phase. And the leadership team is going to be the salon manager. You want a lead stylist, right? You want to have somebody on the floor. And honestly, this could be you because you still want to work behind the chair, but you want someone on the floor other than you, like as your secondary backup, right? So you can still own the salon and do your business and live your life. So who other than you could be a technical leadership on the floor? Haircuts, color, someone to fill in the gaps when you're not in the salon behind the chair. And then you want to establish some kind of a decision-making framework. So you want to empower your team to solve problems without your constant input. One of the things I love to talk about is the 1-3-1 rule. Got it from Dan Martell. Big shout to Dan. He's a beast when it comes to delegation and buying back your time. So if your team understands the core values and they know how to make decisions for themselves, they don't need to bother you. And when they do, you have them 1-3-1 it. And what that is you come to me and you got like 5 different issues. Well, what's the one issue that would solve 80% of the other ones? Cool. Let's establish what that one thing is. What are 3 possible solutions to make that one issue solved? Out of those 3, what's the best option? 1-3-1. Go do that thing. If it doesn't work, try one of the other 2. If that doesn't work, then you come see me. All right. Systems and processes. Week 17 to 24. So now you create standard operating procedures, your SOPs. Daily operations, client experience, team management. These are the things you're going to document. Everybody should know how to open the salon and close the salon if that's in their wheelhouse of what they have to do. How do they handle cash? How are consultations happening? How do we keep the salon clean? What is our standard? What's our floor? What do we not drop below? The manager in charge of that area of the front desk needs to hold that standard. The person in the salon who is handling the stylist needs to hold that standard. A client experience that goes to the salon coordinator. Is the client experience being handled the right way? How are we greeting people? Like, what's our service delivery standard? How are people walking out of the salon? And then team management. How are we onboarding people so they understand what our salon's culture is like, what our standards are, and what they need to live up to in order to be part of this team. Implement performance tracking systems. You want to be able to inspect what you expect, so you need to have some kind of a metric tied to each one of the positions. So if I'm hiring a marketing manager, I need to see 20 new clients every single week. And I just could realistically just go to my booking software and see how many new clients we got this week. If it's 5, there's an issue. What's the problem? That number needs to be explained to you if it's not 20. That happens in your daily, your daily sync with somebody. So you want to make sure that you have some kind of a number in order to tie to that position. That gives you an idea of what success looks like for that role, and it gives them an idea of what success looks like for that role. You always want to define what your definition of success is in that role so they're not lost. And then you want to make sure that you put it on a time horizon, like a timeline. Every month, X amount of new clients. Our percentage of rebooking needs to be done at X percentage every single month. Or our retention rate needs to be on a 3-month time horizon, has to be 75%. So give them the time and give them the number. Delegation and empowerment. This is where things get fun. This is where you start kind of dishing things off to people. And so you want to make sure you transfer responsibilities intelligently. Now, remember, you're going to do this in the front end, right? You have to be part of this in the beginning. Once you learn how to delegate and you empower your team, you pass the baton and you're done. So another rule that I teach is called the 10-80-10 rule. Again, shout out to Dan Martell. 10% of the project I'm going to do with them. So you're going to front load a lot of this. Then the 80%, you're going to have them handle. Final 10%, you're going to inspect what you expect. You're going to be like, oh shit, you did a good job. Perfect. It becomes yours. You don't let them just go out there and drown. You got to make sure you keep in contact with them. But now they're handling everything. Now your salon's running smooth. And then you're going to now establish your new role as the owner. So your job now is to just do hair. This is your new ownership role in the salon. Hey, you are the owner, but now these are all the people you need to speak to when there's a problem. Not me. I'm going to do what I love doing the most, which is doing hair. Now, if you're an owner and you don't want to do hair anymore, then kind of take what I'm saying because it still applies to you, but then stop being a stylist and focus on other things. But if you're that owner right now who's like, I fucking love doing hair, I just don't want to do the owner bullshit. Well, you're going to have to do a little bit of this in the front end. Then once you delegate it, your new role is to be the CEO of your company or like an executive of the company. And there's a new CEO. You're just a stylist. So you're going to be in there doing hair, keeping an eye on things still. You don't just let it burn to the ground, but you don't have to do everything. So now you have your business running without you. Now you can go on vacation and you could just be a stylist again. You could just do hair like you used to do and you used to love it. And so optimizing and scaling, this is going to be ongoing. You're going to keep looking at the numbers. I know people hate numbers. The beautiful thing right now is we have AI. So you just run your P&L or run your finances, your statement you get from your accountant, whoever helps you with the books, into a ChatGPT conversation or whatever AI you love. Have it analyze your metrics for you and tell you where you're at and what you could do differently. Where's your constraint in your business? Guys, if you're not using AI right now, you are just not living in 2025. There's no need to sit here for 5 hours and take a look at your numbers. It can do it in seconds for you. I just did it today on one of the coaching calls. I took somebody who had an issue with inventory, and I showed her how we can create an AI agent to analyze her sales and her inventory ordering and make sure that there's no discrepancies, and it's right on brand. It's right on par for her. Her brand only wants to spend X amount of percentage on new color, and then, or should say her salon, and then it's happening, like she's in that number, but she's still over ordering. So maybe she has to reevaluate everything. So we used AI to help analyze her numbers, and it was brilliant. Now you're gonna have to prepare for growth. As you grow and expand your salon, things are gonna break. It's fine. There's two problems we're gonna focus on right now: people and process. You got the process, and now you have to make sure that the people are doing what the process tells them to do. And if the process isn't broken, then it's the people problem. Now, if there's issues happening, you might have to revisit the process and make some changes as time goes on. And now some emergency protocols: daily operations backup, authority. Salon manager has full authority. Like if you don't want to own the salon, you want to be a stylist, you need to make sure you give up some control. Contacts: have a list of contacts, emergency contact list, crucial vendors, critical vendors, anyone you need to talk to, so people aren't going to you. Could be in a Google Doc, could be in the phone in the front of the salon. Backup key holders, so no one's calling you saying, hey, the front desk person didn't open the salon today because they got in a car accident or something happened. Who's going to open the salon? Who's the backup person? Who has a key? Who's handling cash? Who makes decisions on when we have to, order more amenities for the salon? If there's something, the coffee machine breaks, do they have to contact you for that? Do you have a $200 like max expense that people can just spend out of the salon's money, or a $50 one? So if a decision is, if a purchase is under $50, can anyone make that decision? How does that work? And then client emergencies: how does that happen? If there's a problem with a client, do you still want to be kind of filtered in there, or does your lead stylist handle that? So this is something you want to make sure you iron out so you are truly hands-off as an owner. And then here's some different success metrics, milestones for you, where you should be at in 30 days, 60, 90, 6 months, and then 1 year later. Now, here are some common challenges. My team isn't ready for this level of responsibility. Well, start small. Build their capabilities gradually. Focus on training and development. You train, not tell. Call it T&T leadership. Clients expect to deal with me directly. Well, cool. They used to. You teach people how to treat you. I'm losing control of quality. Well, that's your processes and your systems. You need feedback loops in there to tell you how everything's going. So if you're losing control of the quality, that means your systems weren't formed the right way. Revenue is dropping during transition. Yes, it's going to happen because now you're paying people to do these other things. Once they're doing these things efficiently, revenue will pick back up again. And remember, each person you delegate something to should yield a positive result. So it should be actually adding revenue to your salon, not taking revenue from your salon. My manager is making decisions I disagree with. Well, you got to make sure you have some kind of framework in there for how we make decisions in our business. And then you don't forget, you empower that person to make decisions. If they are making decisions the way that is outlined in your framework, well, then it might be the right decision. You don't have all the ingredients of this decision because you're not involved in everything anymore. So that's why your weekly sync is really, really important to have. So guys, if you are struggling with owning a salon and doing hair, and you're like, I don't feel like owning a salon anymore, well, this particular PDF will be amazing for you. Hit me up on Instagram. Say, hey, Nick, I saw your video on YouTube about how to run my salon while still doing hair behind the chair. I need that PDF. It was brilliant. Hit me up. If you're watching this right now, you're like, shit, this sounds like a lot of work. It is a good amount of work. And if you want some support doing this, I have a community. It's a combination of coaching, community, and curriculum. We go over in depth all of these different strategies, how to make them work in your salon, all the different frameworks, all the different things, all the ingredients that make this beautiful recipe work. So if you want access to that, DM me the word owner, DM me the word grow, just get a conversation with me on Instagram. I'll see if you're a good fit for the Level Up Academy. And if you truly are, like, you truly want to be an owner, but you want to be hands-off because you still want to do hair, it's possible. You can do that. It's a reality for a lot of people that I work with, and they just wanted to do hair, but they hated every salon in their area. So they created something that they loved, and now they love going to work every day. So I hope that helped you guys kind of like rethink the structure you need to put in place in your salon. I know what helped me because this isn't just knowledge I came up with out of thin air. This is stuff that took me years to accumulate. And I created I don't know how long this is now, 10-minute video breaking it down. So obviously you're not going to master it in 10 minutes. Give yourself a little grace. Spend time becoming the owner you need to become so you could actually just go back to doing what you love most, which is doing hair. So James, if there's anyone in the chat who wants to ask a question, they're more than welcome to.
We got thanks for educating us from Hitch Hair. And let me check the other platforms.
And James, can I just shut my computer down or will it mess everything up?
No, I can remove. I can remove. You're not on stage. You can close it.
Yeah, cool. All right, beautiful. Yeah, guys, this is like, you do understand because you still own a business, you still have to act like an owner and put people in place. After you establish everything, you're good. Just start doing hair again. But if you don't take a little bit of initiative, then your salon's never going to be successful. And what's going to happen is you're going to have to close your salon and go work for somebody else anyway. So you are an owner. You still have to act like an owner a little bit, but you don't have to do everything. That's the part I'm trying to really stress here. All right, so
let's see. We got
Q&A
is it
time.
even realistic to scale a salon while still working behind the chair?
Oh yeah, 1,000% it is. But you're not doing everything yourself. So can a salon owner still work behind the chair and scale their salon? The answer is yes. But you need to put people in place to do the things that you should be doing as the owner. And this is what business is like. Like, if you take a look at the most successful people in the world, they like what's his name, James, the owner of Virgin Airlines?
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. I mean, he runs like hundreds of companies. The guy's a billionaire. He doesn't probably do anything in any of those companies. He just does what he loves to do. Like I heard of him, he has a great executive assistant. He delegates everything to, or everything goes through her before it goes to him. Spends like an hour and a half with her in the morning. Then he goes skiing. It's a billionaire. So you got to put people in place to get the things done that you need to get done. And then you could just do hair. So now here's the difference, guys. If you need to do hair in order for your salon to survive, that's the difference. You are carrying your business. You're putting good money on bad money. And this is something that I've fallen victim to all the time, right? You start a business and you have to work behind the chair, but after a certain time, you could remove yourself from the business. It doesn't need your money to survive. That's why you put people in place so they can analyze the numbers and do the inventory for you and do all that. Like, it's important that you're not the person who your business needs. Like your salon shouldn't depend on you. You should be like a stylist inside of your location. That means you're not paying yourself a management drawer, or you're not paying yourself 100% commission. You're going to pay yourself like a stylist if you want to be a stylist in your salon. Then out of the profits is where you pull your profits out of and your dividends and your distributions from. Next question, James.
How do you lead a team when you're still one of them on the floor?
You don't. That's what you hired a leader for. So unless you're going to be that lead stylist, then go ahead and lead the stylist. But if you're going to be an owner who's still on the floor and you want to only be on the floor, then you hire someone to lead the team and be a manager. But typically this is not normal for a lot of people. Like, you want to own the salon because you want to be a leader, but some people don't want anything to do with that. So you have to then remove yourself from the equation and just do hair. And then when there's a problem in the salon, go see Jen, go see Bree, go see Barbara, go see Nancy, go see this person. And then they're in charge. Everyone knows exactly who is in charge of what in your salon, and then everything's delegated. Now, if there's a major fire to put out, you obviously have to step in. But yeah, your salon can be led with great leaders if you train them.
Guys,
this is running a business. This is not just running a hair salon. Like, it's a legitimate business structure for yourself.
How do you create a culture that doesn't depend on your constant presence?
Make sure your standards are being met every day. Make sure there's something in there to support your standards, and then it doesn't need your presence. because there's a standard in there. And you have to hire. That comes from your hiring process. You need to hire people who align with your culture and your core values. And then you need to instill a standard in how your leadership operates and how everything's being done in your salon so it does not need you. And James, we're going to wrap up to the last final questions because I know it's Saturday. Everyone's got to get back to work.
We just have as a style DH Canco. As a stylist and owner, stepping away from behind the chair, it was the best thing I ever did for my business.
Is that Dimitra? I think it's Dimitra. I'm not in the Dimitra. If it's you, I'm not in the chat. Yeah, I think that was one of the conversations me and Dimitra had. Now, Dimitra, if it is Dimitra, I'm pretty sure it is from the name. She stepped away to grow an extension business. So here's the most beautiful thing in the world. If you want to step away from being the owner or and have someone help manage run your salon, you can go still do hair if you wanted to, or go open another business and then rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
She said, yes, it's Dimitra.
Yep.
You helped me step away from the chair.
Yeah, she was in Greece. It felt like 10 years she was in there. I was watching her stories, jealous as hell. Wow, she has 2, 3, 4 businesses running without her. I'm sure she's still gotten phone calls and handled emails, but I mean, that's the American dream. And she's replying to the hate messages too from her Instagram because people are haters. But
last one is Linda Vera.com.
Yeah.
I only have a 2-chair salon. Do I need all of this or can I scale it down?
No, it's whatever is applicable to you. A 2-chair salon is fine. But if you don't forget, this is meant for somebody who just wants to do hair behind the chair and not be an owner. And so I created this playbook for them, but this playbook, it mixes a lot of the theories and the processes and the SOPs and the standards I use for a lot of owners who want to delegate and just not do hair anymore too. So the whole thing about buying back your time is it gives you the freedom to do what you love to do. A 2-chair salon, more than likely, you're going to be one of the biggest contributors in that salon because there's not enough people in there to help you scale that business unless you're doing like a split week shift where you're doing like the Monday, Wednesday, Friday crew to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday crew. And then you only work 1 day a week and the rest of the salon has people in it. Right. But micro salons are great. But if you're a double booker, if you're there's a lot of variables to that will help sway that answer to that question. But 2-chair salons, you still should have a lot of this stuff in place. So as you grow, if you want to, you're organized. And it just might be you have the org chart and you're like 55% of that or 60 or 70% of that because it's small. And you can handle those roles. Like it's not gonna be hard to do inventory. When you have a salon like Dimitra, there's 50 people in there. You can't do if you were to do the inventory, the hiring, you do everything, you'd be burnt out. You'd be not enough hours in a day. So that's where you start now plugging yourself out of the equation and plugging somebody else in. And you just give them the position agreement to do it. All right, James, I got one more question if it's in the chat.
Nope, we got no more questions.
All right, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy your Saturday. We're trying to kick off lives again every single day. So if you missed it and you're tuning at the end, go to YouTube. The live should be up in a couple minutes. It will probably be duplicated as a podcast as well, and also as a blog of some sorts. Go to my website, click on the newsletter, subscribe. Like I said, if you're struggling right now, you're like, this is a lot of information. I can't handle it. Let me get some help with this. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I'd love to, if you're a good fit, bring into the community where you are going to be around other like-minded salon owners who are also crushing it. And you can truly elevate your business to that next level. See you guys later. Have a great weekend.